How's it going, everybody? I'm meteorologist Joe Cragness back with your daily forecast. Today we have a fairly large risk area for pretty much the entire central U.S. all the way from south central Texas all the way up to southern Wisconsin. Could see some severe weather in some form today. Still looking out for that next system that could move through the beginning of next week. Possibly bringing in our next severe weather outbreak. So keeping an eye on that. And then looking at the summer heat, could be moving in soon with a large ridge expected to set up over the western two-thirds of the country. That could bring some above average temperatures to a good chunk of the country for next week. Looking at our storm reports that we had from yesterday, down in Texas and Oklahoma, had a good amount of hail reports. A few tornadoes popped up out in the Texas Panhandle area. They were on the lower end. A couple of like moderately strong tornadoes out there, but no major population areas were hit by really any of the hazards that we had yesterday. And then out in Kansas and tiny sliver of Colorado, we had some decent hail move through that area. Some 4.5-inch hail from some of these supercells that popped up in west central Kansas. So a decent storm system out there yesterday, just no major population areas were hit. So no 3-star plus maps yesterday. We only had a 2-star map out yesterday. Looking at what we have right now for storms going on, some storms moving through Houston, Lake Charles area of Louisiana. That's going to continue to push off to the east as we go on over the next few hours. Houston could be in store for some severe weather later on today as these storms strengthen back up with the daytime heating. And then up north, we have a low pressure system kicking up some precipitation right now in the Midwest and Great Lakes region. We have this small little trough right now kind of right over Minnesota that's kicking off those storms. And then down south, we have a little bit of a short wave with those storms as well. Fairly warm out east, temperatures out in the mid-80s, mid and lower 70s right now, back behind all of these storms where we're expecting some severe weather to pop up later on this afternoon, possibly going to be later on in the afternoon around that 3 to 5 p.m. time frame is when we're kind of expecting things to really start kicking off. Dew points right now, we have 60-degree dew points all the way up into like the Davenport, Iowa area. So plenty of moisture for these storms to work with. Not quite ideal for the southern plains though in terms of moisture, but there is at least some moisture for these storms to work with, just not super high amounts of moisture. Looking at our significant hail model, you can see this plume building up 5 p.m. here this evening, looking like a small portion of Texas is where that main risk for the largest hail is going to be. Kind of around the Abilene, Wichita Falls area is where we're looking at for that. Little bit of an extension of those favorable conditions all the way up into the Chicago area. Not super high-end risk for severe weather out there, but it is still there. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. And then going into tomorrow morning, seeing those favorable conditions start to build back up in and possibly see some more hail down in the Texas area for tomorrow. Looking at our future radar here, some strong thunderstorms moving through the Houston area this afternoon. Storms starting to fire up in central Oklahoma, out into Missouri, far southeastern Kansas. And this is what the main focus is today around that Abilene area. We could see some strong supercell thunderstorms pop up where those most favorable conditions are. around that 5 p.m. time frame, expecting those to kind of build up and push off to the east into the early evening hours. Dallas looks like they're going to kind of escape from the highest risk area, but these storms moving in the direction of the Waco, Texas, Austin, Texas area as we go into the overnight hours, but expecting those storms to die down before possibly hitting any major population areas this evening. But that's what we got for the southern region. Moving into the northern region, where we could see some stronger thunderstorms this afternoon as well. Looking at the southeastern portion of Kansas, western half of Missouri could see some severe weather. Those storms shifting off to the northeast. As these storms become linear, they're going to lose a lot of their power and structure going into the evening and overnight hours. We could see a few brief spin-ups with some of these storms as we go into tonight, but not expecting anything super high-end in terms of like tornadoes, hail. Maybe we could see a few damaging wind gusts out of those storms as well. But that's what we got for that. Here's what we have for our hail risk area for today. Looking at, like I said before, that Abilene, Texas, Wichita Falls area, expecting the highest chance for some larger hail today. Could see some reasonably sized hail. Maybe we see a baseball report or two out of some of those storms down there, and then that risk extends all the way up into the Chicago area. It is significantly lower of a risk, though, as you get to the north, basically, of Oklahoma. That's where there's a small risk. It's still there, but not nearly as significant as it is to the south of the northern Oklahoma border there. And then wind forecast, pretty much the same exact area where we're looking at. Abilene, Texas, still the main area of concern for today. And then in terms of tornado risk, slightly smaller risk area, not extending as far north, as far to the south west for today. But again, Abilene, Texas is the main area that we're watching for the strongest thunderstorms to develop later on this evening. This is what we have for tomorrow in terms of storms, expecting them to kind of fire off between that 3 and 4 p.m. time frame. Far southwestern Texas, looking like that's where the storms are going to fire off first, and then everything's going to blow up pretty much at the same time. So the storms are going to kind of merge together, be super messy for tomorrow evening, be all over the place. Could see some larger hail out of some of these storms as they're more isolated. Maybe we get a brief spin up or two, some damaging wind gusts as well. But again, tomorrow is a lower end threat than it has been the past few days. Similar to kind of how today is expected to play out. Lower end threat, smaller area of those higher end conditions where we could see some stronger thunderstorms develop. And then farther up north, we have for tomorrow again, this is 6:30 p.m. Central Time, moving into, don't know what happened to that graphic, but storms expecting to be more linear up in the Kansas, Missouri area for tomorrow. Maybe we have some stronger wind gusts, significantly lower hail threat for those storms up there. Here's our jet stream right now going into this evening. See this little jet streak right over Minnesota. That's where that low pressure system is located. Got a long cold front extending to the south of that system, kind of firing off and being the triggering mechanism for those storms. Later on this evening, that's going to push off to the northeast pretty quickly. Severe threat is going to diminish quite a bit for the eastern U.S., so not expecting too many storms out there going into the weekend. And then this is the next system that we're keeping our eye on. Have a nice negatively tilted trough with a jet streak located right over the Albuquerque, New Mexico area. That's going to push off into the Central Plains by Monday afternoon. So we could have a very long, narrow corridor of severe weather possibly for Monday. likely going to be cutting off in north central Nebraska, extending all the way down probably to south central Texas is what the severe risk is going to end up looking like for Monday afternoon. And then that's going to continue to push off to the northeast for your Thursday or Tuesday afternoon, bringing some possible severe weather to the Great Lakes region. And then this flow becomes a lot more zonal, more east to west oriented as we go into the back half of next week. So that's going to diminish the severe chances. But the eastern U.S. could see a few stronger thunderstorms going into the back end of next week for that. Here's what we have for our instability going into this afternoon. See this nice big plume pushing up into the Wichita Falls area. Have a little bit of instability out near Chicago, just enough to keep those storms going, but not enough to be a high-end severe risk day out there. But we could see a few severe hazards as we go into this evening and the overnight hours out there. Not expecting anything like what we're expecting for Texas, though, for today. That risk is going to be very localized to the central and northern portions of Texas. And then for tomorrow, again, have a bullseye of that highest instability in the central Texas area. Pushes up a little bit into the far eastern portions of Oklahoma. So we could see a little bit of severe weather out there as well. And then going into this weekend, far lower instability with that cold front coming through, cooling off those surface temperatures, and really that whole profile of temperatures. So not nearly as high of instability for this weekend. So severe risk diminishing quite a bit going into tomorrow and this weekend. Today is really the last day of the higher end severe risk until we get to that Monday, when we could see a decent sized outbreak of severe weather with that upcoming system. For 6 to 10 day outlook for precipitation, above average precipitation expected basically for the entire northern half of the country. Starting to dry out a little bit for the southern plains. So we've been getting a lot of rain down here, a lot of flash flooding going. So it'll give some time for that moisture to soak into the soils, maybe reduce those drought conditions just a little bit. Give a little bit of a break for the widespread heavy precipitation that we've been seeing over the past week or so. In terms of temperatures, we're expecting pretty warm temperatures for the eastern half of the U.S. Mainly the southeast is where those highest temperatures are going to be. So expecting widespread 90-degree plus days for a good chunk of the southeastern portion of the country, and then cooler than average temperatures out west near the Salt Lake City region, southern Idaho, northern Nevada. That kind of area was where we're expecting the bullseye of those coldest temperatures to be, with this nice trough setting up. That's what this graphic is picking up on, that trough setting up for the beginning and middle and end of next week for that. So that's all we got for today. If you're interested in learning more about us, go ahead and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. If you're interested in purchasing a plan, go ahead and scan that QR code up above me, or give us a call at 855-334-4245. Email us at info@hailtrace.com, or check out our website at www.hailtrace.com. That's it for now. I'm meteorologist Joey Cragness. Thanks for watching.